Amidst the cacophony of the bustling village, the Buddha sat beneath a banyan tree, radiating calm and presence. His disciples gathered around him, their faces weathered by the trials of life and longing for the light of wisdom. Rajan, a young disciple with restless eyes, approached the Buddha, bowing low, and then spoke in a strained voice. "Master, my mind is filled with ceaseless turmoil," Rajan said. "No matter how hard I try, I cannot quiet it." The Buddha gazed at him gently, as if peering through the layers of anguish and reaching his inner being. "Rajan," the Buddha said, his voice like the stillness of dawn, "the chaos within mirrors the chaos you perceive without." The disciples murmured in confusion, trying to grasp the deeper meaning hidden within their teacher's serene and measured words. Rajan pressed further, his brow furrowed with frustration. "But Master, the world around me is in constant upheaval. How can I find peace?" The Buddha raised his hand, palm open, inviting stillness into the anxious hearts of those who surrounded him. "Imagine a lake during a storm," he began, his eyes closing, as if summoning a vision to share through his words. "The wind lashes its surface, creating waves that obscure its depths, and you cannot see its true reflection." The disciples leaned in, captivated by the imagery, their own inner tempests momentarily lulled by the Buddha's soothing cadence. "When the storm ceases," the Buddha continued, "the water calms, and clarity returns, revealing the lake's essence beneath." He opened his eyes, the light within them steady, like the first star emerging from behind parting clouds. "Your mind is that lake, Rajan," he explained. "The storm is your attachment, your refusal to let go of turmoil." Rajan looked down, his thoughts racing, yet a glimmer of understanding flickered in his expression, like dawn breaking. "But Master, the storm feels endless," Rajan said, his voice low, "and I don't know how to let it end." The Buddha smiled, the kind of smile that felt like a gentle wind dispersing dark clouds in a tired sky. "Breathe, Rajan," he said simply. "The breath is your anchor when the storm rages. It reminds you that storms pass." The disciples followed his words, closing their eyes and focusing on the rhythm of their breaths. Soft and steady, in the silence, even the noises of the village, the shouts, the clatter, seemed to fade into a distant and peaceful hum. "Observe the storm," the Buddha spoke again, his voice resonant yet soft, like a distant bell chiming. "Do not judge it, do not fight it, do not name it. Let it pass over like the wind." Rajan opened his eyes, and for the first time in what felt like an eternity, they were not clouded with fear. "It feels as if the storm is subsiding." "Master," Rajan said, his voice tinged with both wonder and cautious hope. The Buddha nodded. "You have begun the journey, Rajan. Clarity arises not from fighting chaos, but from surrendering to stillness." The disciples sat in awe, some with tears gently tracing paths down their cheeks, their burdens momentarily lighter. "Master," another disciple named Suri spoke up, "how can we carry this clarity into the unending chaos of the world?" The Buddha turned his gaze toward her, his face radiating the quiet wisdom of one who had traversed countless storms, just as the eye observes without being the sight, and the ear hears without being the sound. He began, "So too must the mind observe the world without becoming entangled in its fleeting dramas and illusions." He continued, "The world is chaos, yes, but chaos does not define the observer unless you choose to make it so." Suri nodded slowly, the pieces of her own inner puzzle beginning to align. Though the picture remained incomplete for now, the heart must cultivate compassion, and the mind must cultivate detachment, the Buddha added, "for these are your shields in chaos." As the evening light softened, bathing the banyan tree and its companions in gold, the teaching settled like gentle rain. Rajan, now seated still as the roots of the tree, whispered words meant more for himself than for others. If I am the lake, then peace is already within me. Beneath the storm, he murmured, his voice trembling with realization. The Buddha, hearing these words, looked upon Rajan with a gaze that could neither confirm nor deny. Only support. Peace is not something found. Rajan, the Buddha said after a moment, it is something revealed when all else is released. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the banyan tree seemed to stretch its shadow, embracing the disciples in its shade. The village's chaos continued beyond the grove, but within, a quiet sanctuary had formed, where storms were met with stillness. The Buddha's presence lingered, not as a commanding force, but as an enduring reminder that clarity is never too far. And so the disciples returned to their own lives, not free from storms, but no longer afraid to face them. Each carried the Buddha's voice within, a compass pointing toward calm waters, a guide to navigate the chaos of existence. Another day, another gathering beneath the shade of the ancient banyan tree, where wisdom flowed like an unceasing stream. The disciples assembled, their faces etched with questions, their hearts yearning for clarity amidst the persistent shadows of illusion. Anila, her demeanor heavy with discontent, approached the Buddha, bowing deeply, her eyes searching for answers to her unspoken anguish. Master, she began, her voice trembling, I chased wealth, hoping it would bring peace, but it has chained me further. The Buddha observed her with quiet compassion, his gaze resting not on her burden but on the spark of understanding within. He reached for a cracked mirror lying nearby, its surface distorted, and held it up for the disciples to examine. This mirror reveals a reflection, yet it does not show the truth, the Buddha said, his voice calm and deliberate. It distorts what you see, yet you accept its image without questioning its reality, he continued, his tone unwavering. Anila frowned, the metaphor touching upon the edges of her consciousness. Yet clarity remained elusive in her grasp. Desire is like this mirror, the Buddha explained. It deceives you, convincing you that it holds the key to fulfillment. Another disciple, Rajan, asked hesitantly, but Master, if desire is illusion, how can we escape its trap and uncover the truth? The Buddha set the mirror down gently, its cracked surface catching a fragment of sunlight filtering through the tree's canopy. Recognize desire as transient, he said. Wealth, power, and even relationships, they are shadows, impermanent and bound to vanish. Anila's expression softened, her burden lifting slightly, though doubt still lingered like the fading whispers of a storm. Master, she said hesitantly, if all things are transient, where does peace reside? How can we reach beyond desire's grasp? The Buddha smiled faintly, his presence a soothing balm, his words forming a bridge between the known and the unknown. True clarity arises when you see beyond the distortions of desire, he replied. When you embrace the essence of life. Essence? Anila echoed, her voice a mixture of curiosity and hesitance, as though teetering on the edge of understanding. Essence is found not in possessing, the Buddha clarified, but in experiencing without attachment, in being present without clinging. The disciples sat in silence, absorbing the depth of his words, the truth lingering in the air like a subtle fragrance. Another disciple, Suri, spoke up, her voice soft yet resolute. Master, how do we know when we have found essence? The Buddha turned his gaze toward her, his expression steady and serene, like the unwavering light of a distant star. When you no longer seek fulfillment in the external, he replied, but find joy in the simplicity of each moment. Anila's eyes brightened slightly, the cracks in her heart beginning to heal as she clung less tightly to her illusions. But Master, Rajan interjected, what if the world tempts us, drawing us back into desire's illusion despite our efforts? The Buddha nodded thoughtfully, his demeanor unchanging. as though he had foreseen the struggles each disciple would inevitably encounter. Desire's illusion is persistent, he said, but your mind is stronger. Discipline and mindfulness can guide you through its pull. The disciples listened, their breaths steady, their burdens momentarily lighter, though the path ahead seemed fraught with uncertainty. The Buddha's voice grew softer, yet more resolute. You are not powerless before desire, for clarity is the root of strength. Anila bowed deeply, gratitude blossoming in her heart, though her steps remained hesitant, her journey toward peace still unfolding. Rajan closed his eyes, his focus sharp, his resolve strengthening as he embraced the teachings that could shatter his inner storm. Master, Anila murmured, why does desire persist, even when we understand its illusion? Why is its hold so difficult to break? The Buddha rested his hands on his knees, his posture relaxed yet deliberate, his gaze filled with profound understanding. Desire arises from ignorance, he said. It feeds on our failure to see beyond its fleeting promises and deceptive allure. To break free from its hold, he continued, you must cultivate wisdom, for wisdom is the light that dispels illusion's darkness. The disciples sat in silent reverence, their teacher's words weaving through their thoughts, illuminating paths hidden beneath layers of confusion. The cracked mirror lay forgotten, its image rendered irrelevant, as the disciples began to glimpse reflections of their own essence. Master, Rajan said softly, if wisdom is the light, where can we find it when the world blinds us with illusion? The Buddha closed his eyes briefly, his presence exuding tranquility, as if drawing his disciples into the depths of understanding. Wisdom resides within you, he said, opening his eyes, but it requires patience, reflection, and the courage to face your shadows. Anila bowed deeply once more, a sense of liberation beginning to take root, though it remained fragile, like a budding flower. The Buddha's teachings lingered in the air as the day transitioned into twilight, the banyan tree casting long shadows around them. Each disciple carried the echoes of his words, no longer enslaved by illusion, but guided by the compass of clarity. The village's noise receded into the background, its chaos blending into a distant hum, as peace embraced the disciples. The Buddha's presence remained, his wisdom an eternal guide, a reminder that truth is often found beyond the distorted reflections of desire. As night fell, the disciples returned to their lives, their hearts lighter and their minds quieter. Though their journeys were far from over, another day would come, another lesson, and another step toward clarity in the chaos that defined the world they inhabited. Yet, for now, peace lingered, and the teachings of the Buddha continued to illuminate their paths, dispelling the shadows of illusion. Another day, another gathering beneath the banyan tree, where the light of wisdom illuminated the faces of the devoted disciples. The air carried the whispers of spring, a calm contrast to the persistent questions residing in the hearts of the seekers. Dipa, a disciplined disciple with steady resolve, bowed before the Buddha and spoke with quiet determination, seeking guidance for her path. Master, she said, her voice clear and firm, we seek clarity and wisdom, but what should guide us on this journey? The Buddha looked at her with serene eyes, his presence an anchor in the tides of uncertainty surrounding the gathering. Clarity gives vision, the Buddha began, but to navigate life's unknown waters, you need a compass, unwavering even amidst chaos. The disciples exchanged glances, intrigued by the imagery, eager to grasp the significance of the Buddha's symbolic teaching. Another disciple, Rajan, asked, Master, what is this compass, and how can we find it within ourselves amidst all distractions? The Buddha raised his hand, pointing to the vast sky above, where stars shimmered faintly in the late afternoon light, just as sailors are guided by stars across turbulent seas. so too must your compass guide you toward integrity and virtue. Dippa nodded, her brow furrowed with contemplation. Master, does this compass consist of rules? Or is it something deeper within us? The Buddha smiled gently, his wisdom radiating through his serene demeanor. Virtue is not merely rules. It is the essence of integrity. He continued, compassion, patience, and humility form this compass. Together, they align your being with truth and shield you from suffering. The disciples listened intently, their hearts absorbing the profound simplicity of the Buddha's words. Like dry earth soaking up rain, Master, Dippa asked, what if we falter? Virtue is difficult to uphold, and challenges seem to test us at every step. The Buddha's gaze softened, his understanding of human frailty evident in his calm response. Virtue is not perfection, Dippa, but practice. He continued, when you falter, reflect, and return to the compass. It remains steadfast, even when you momentarily lose your way. Dippa bowed deeply, her resolve strengthened by the Buddha's teaching, her inner compass beginning to align with his timeless wisdom. Rajan, ever inquisitive, asked, but Master, how do we measure our alignment with this compass when external chaos surrounds us? The Buddha pointed to a bird perched on a branch. Its feathers ruffled by the breeze, but its stance steady. Like the bird in the wind, you align with the compass when your actions reflect calmness and kindness amidst turmoil. Suri, sitting quietly until now, asked, Master, how do we ensure that compassion does not turn into attachment, leading to more suffering? The Buddha's expression remained serene, his voice steady as he answered, compassion is giving, Suri, without seeking to possess or control. He added, true compassion arises from understanding and seeks to ease suffering, not bind others or oneself in expectations. The disciples sat in silent reflection, their minds grappling with the profound truths unraveling before them under the banyan tree. Dippa, her confidence growing, asked, Master, how can patience guide us through moments of great pain and adversity when we feel lost? The Buddha gestured toward the roots of the banyan tree, firm and unyielding, even as they adapted to their surroundings. Patience is like these roots, he said. It anchors you in storms, providing strength to endure and grow with time. Another disciple spoke hesitantly, and humility. Master, how do we remain humble when achievement tempts us to indulge in pride? The Buddha's smile returned, gentle and knowing. Humility is the recognition of interconnectedness. No accomplishment exists without countless unseen contributions. Rajan, always skeptical, asked, Master, can virtue truly be enough? What if the world demands actions that seem to conflict with it? The Buddha's eyes softened, his response resonating like a deep chord. Virtue is the compass, Rajan, not the destination. Follow it faithfully. He continued, challenges may arise, but your compass will guide you toward actions aligned with your deepest understanding and inner peace. The disciples exchanged thoughtful glances, their questions addressed but their journeys toward embodying the teachings only just beginning. The Buddha's voice softened, yet its impact remained potent. The compass is not an external force. It resides within you, ever steady. Dippa bowed once more, her determination renewed, her heart filled with gratitude for the compass that now illuminated her path. The banyan tree stood as a silent witness to the timeless exchange, its roots and branches embodying patience, resilience, and humility. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the gathering, the village sounds faded into the background. Momentarily distant, the Buddha's presence lingered, a testament to the enduring power of wisdom, illuminating paths even in the darkest corners of life. The disciples dispersed, their hearts carrying the compass of virtue, a guide for the inevitable challenges and chaos awaiting them. And so, The teachings of the Buddha continued to echo within their souls, shaping lives and weaving clarity from the threads of chaos. Buddha smiled gently, his presence radiating compassion as he motioned toward the river, its flow unyielding and unbothered by speculation. This river flows without questioning its course. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.